It looks very likely now that the government is going to introduce some kind of COVID passport. It's the kind of passport without which you can't access certain facilities, you can't go to certain sports arenas, you can't go to other kind of large meetings. I never thought it would happen, not in a country like this, that you could divide up your citizens so readily between the jabbed and the non-jabbed, those who've been inoculated and followed the government guidelines and those who, for whatever reason, don't wish to follow the government along that route. Seems to me that we've come down a totalitarian and authoritarian road which I never ever thought we would. We're going to divide up society into the haves and the have-nots, the jabbed and the not jabbed, those who can go where they like, the free and the unfree. And I never thought that I'd find such a state of affairs in this country. And certainly not from someone, the Prime Minister, who has been on record as saying that if ever the government required him to present an identity card to get into any particular place, then he would take out that identity card, he would tear it up, and he would eat the pieces to show his strong aversion to having to do such a thing. And yet here he is, introducing his own COVID passport scheme. Seems to me that if we take on board this kind of passport, then I'm afraid we're going to find it's not a passport to freedom. It's going to be a passport to servitude. And you can see that rather well and rather easily. It doesn't take a great deal of imagination to see that. So, no passport? Sorry, no access to the club, no access to the public house, no access to the restaurant. What, no passport? Sorry, no access to the gym, no access to the golf course, no access to the tennis courts. What, no passport? Sorry, no access to the garage, no access to fuel for your car. No passport? Sorry, no access to the supermarket, no access to the mall, no access to the corner shop anymore. And so it goes on. These passports are not going to be used in order to allow freedom. Passports are always used to prevent people from doing things if you haven't got the right stamps on your passport, the right agreement for it. And by the time people become wise to that, it'll all be far too late. No, the trap will be shut and everything will be set up, and there's nothing that we can do about it. What, no booster jab? Sorry, mate, no passport. So what can we do about it? Well, I don't intend to be using an app that you have to download in order to give yourself some freedom to go out for a walk in a park. And I don't think anyone else should be forced to use apps of that nature either. And I would urge everyone not to accept that kind of society, that kind of system, which only allows you to have the freedom which the government says you can have if you do the things the government wants you to do.